Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be starting with you a new series which is going to focus on the candles of Bevis Marks Synagogue. We find ourselves in the darkest part of the year, just entering now into 2021, and of course light plays a big part in our lives, how we have enough light to live our lives. And obviously in modern times with electricity, it rarely feels like it's much of an issue. But we know that light, of course, is necessary in order for us to go about our lives, both during the day and at night. And in previous videos, we've spoken already a bit about light in the synagogue. Most recently, we've spoken about the Chanukiah. We've spoken about the light that comes in from the windows. And the very first video in this entire series spoke about the Ner Tamid, the eternal light that hangs in front of the Hechal. What's interesting about all of those is that all of those types of lights come from either oil or the sunlight, but we haven't yet spoken about the candles. And so for these next few videos, we're going to be focusing on the candles themselves. And I'd like to share with you a bit about the candles as a way of starting out this new series. And so I'm going to first show you that, of course, we have many candles here at the synagogue. We have the candelabras and we have the lights in front of different places. And that means that we have to have different sized candles for different situations. Some of them are quite large, as this one. We have others that are in the chandeliers that tend to be a bit smaller in size so that they can fit into the appropriate slots for them. And as I mentioned, that most of the time, the lights in the synagogue are these wax candles. But of course, historically, oil would have been used in the temple. And that's why the Chanukiah uses oil. And even the Ner Tamid, the eternal lamp, for most of the history of Bevis Marks, also had been an oil lamp. But more recently, it was turned into using a wax candle as a way, I think, of just making it a bit safer and perhaps just easier to do. But the other candles, of course, have always been just wax candles like these. And what's interesting is while normally you kind of have either one or the other, I came across a candle that perhaps speaks to a time that they were somehow trying to merge the two into one. And so this candle over here actually looks like a typical wax candle, but it's not. The top of it can actually twist off, and inside was a receptacle for putting oil into this, and then of course it had a wick that would go on and be able to light. So this would actually be reusable by just putting oil inside. Different Spanish Portuguese synagogues have done different things. In the Spanish and Portuguese synagogue in New York and Cherith, Israel, they use gas. It's a late 19th century building, and so they used gas as a way for their lights to be before they transitioned mostly over to electric. And there they have a really fascinating lamp along the upper gallery of the synagogue that was known as a skeptic lamp because it has two tiers, and one of the tiers was gas and one of the tiers was electric. And it was for the skeptics, those who thought that perhaps electricity was just a fad or wasn't going to be reliable, and so it was part gas, part electric. Now it's entirely electric. And so, of course, in our synagogue today, we also have some electric lights, which has helped to mitigate a bit the loss of light through the windows. But of course, candles were not typically used during the daytime. And so that's what we're going to be doing during these videos, is talk about what was the purpose of these different candles. Sometimes it was for light, sometimes it's to identify or to signify important places in the synagogue. And so we'll actually, during these videos, look at the different candles around the synagogue as a way of learning more about the building, but more importantly about what happens inside of the synagogue and the different positions within the synagogue, and to learn more about how a Spanish and Portuguese synagogue actually functions. So I look forward to getting more into the candles with you in the future videos, but until then, I wish you all a good day.